YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be reacting to your SummerSlam predictions and stuff like that. This is pretty much a monthly video series where pretty much I let you guys get your thoughts and opinions on so you guys can get your voice heard on everything that's happening in the world of professional wrestling, especially when we have these PLEs that are coming up. We do have a 2-night SummerSlam this year, if you guys don't know. So I'm going to be going through my you guys' predictions and give my thoughts and opinions on it and stuff like that, and we're going to go from there. So the first comment comes from Alex, my guy, my brother. My my winner prediction for both nights of SummerSlam as early Tuesday morning, night one, Tiffany Stratton, Randy Orton, Jelly Roll, CM Punk, Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte Flair, Roman Reigns, and Jey Uso, and Karrion Kross. Tiffany Stratton makes I can see happening just because they might want to do one of those things where it's like you would think that Jade Cargill will win, but for some way somehow that doesn't happen. They end up pretty much prolonging that some again. I think the whole thing with that with that Alex with Tiffany is the whole goal from day one was to potentially put the title on Jade Cargill here, and I don't think I can see them prolonging it. Could it be possible? Yes, but I don't know if they would. So that's the only reason why I'm kind of skeptical and seeing how that honestly would play out. But I would not be surprised if that were to happen. The Randy Orton Jelly Roll, I think makes sense. They always have the celebrities pretty much end up winning their matches when they do make their presence felt in some way, shape, or form. CM Punk would be very, very cool just because I think a lot of people want to see him win that world championship. But at the same time, they kind of just gave the title back to Gunther not too long ago, so I don't know. But I would not be surprised if CM Punk got the win there. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, I think definitely could be a possibility. It really just determines on how the go home show really plays out because at the time of recording the video, we have one more SmackDown before SummerSlam, so that kind of really determines how overall the match could end up playing out because there's a lot of factors there. You could have the Judgment Day retain only because they're trying to tell the story where everyone has gold, and when Liv does come back, they can tell that story where it's like you were the one that was holding us back. As soon as you went down, we stepped up and we became champions. I think that is a story arc that they're trying to go with. As far as the Judgment Day, as far as I'm concerned. Now, my only thing with that is I don't know if the Judgment Day can actually hold the titles for another 5 to 6 months without getting tiring. That is my only thing with that. But I would not be surprised if Alexa and Charlotte get the win there because they're like literally one of the most like popular things in wrestling right now. Charlotte is getting literally cheers in 2025 after literally winning the Royal Rumble this year to a chorus of boos, and now we're sitting here a couple months later on from that where she is getting cheers where people are literally chanting her name, which is a really crazy 180 when you think about it. So I would expect Alexa and Charlotte to get the win. Roman and Jay, I think, can make sense only because it's like they did get beat down on Raw. So you would think that pretty much for the most part they would stand tall here. But I don't know. I feel like it could go either way. But if you can see my predicts video, I kind of said the Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed need to win more because they're the newer stars compared to Roman and Jay. They need to be established, especially for Braun Breaker. The way you're trying to build him up, the way you positioned him on Raw is making him seem like he is going to be potentially one of the stars of the future. And I think this will be the perfect way to establish him in a way like this. So I think it's a possibility Roman and Jay do get the win, but I would not be surprised if Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed get the win. That's my prediction there. Karrion Kross, I would love to see just because it's like it would definitely hammer home the point where maybe Sami Zayn really does start to doubt himself, really questioning himself. Does he really have what it takes to become a world champion? And maybe Karrion Kross might be the catalyst for Sami to believe that he doesn't have what it takes. I think that this would be a great performance for him. I think this will be something interesting for him because he needs something. I feel like if he loses, it's like, what really is there else for him to do? Like, are they gonna keep him in WWE? Are they gonna not re-sign him? It's a lot of stuff up in the air with Karrion Kross compared to Sami Zayn, which makes it a little bit all the more intriguing if you ask me. I would love to see Karrion Kross get the win. I mean, he did win on Raw, and you kind of know how they do these trilogy matches where one person wins one match, the second person wins the next match, and then they kind of end up doing the rubber match at a pay per view or whatever the case may be. And usually, a lot of times, the babyface ends up going over. So I don't know if that's going to happen. I would love to see a situation where maybe the villain ends up winning in the end, which will be very interesting to happen. Now he's on. Now he has his night two predictions. Cody Rhodes, I think we get a double turn. I think Cena turns face and Cody turns heel. Rhea Ripley, Lyra Valkyria, Jacob, AJ Styles, Wyatt Six retain. Cody Rhodes, I can see winning. I think he really does win, and I think there is a situation where we do see a double turn, not fully, but like at the very least, we get to see those seeds be planted at the very least, and we can kind of have Cody win the championship, and Cena can go back to be a face because I think he does deserve to hang it up as a babyface and going into his last match as a babyface as well. So I think having him lose the title here would be very interesting. Rhea Ripley, I think, is definitely possible. I mean, if you think how they've been pushing her this year, if you here's a crazy stat, like literally this entire year, and I think I mentioned in a previous video of mine, she's been in every single women's world championship match that there's been this year. She has not been in a match where it's not for the women's world championship, and I feel like that streak is going to continue apparently, and whatnot. So I mean, Rhea Ripley, I think, is kind of probably going to win this potentially, but I think they're going to keep Naomi as champion just because it's like you just gave her the championship. It will kind of suck in a sense. Like you brought her over to get away from Jade Cargill and Bianca to only go over there to win the championship, to cash in successfully, to what have a 1 month reign and then lose it. I think that's kind of just would be kind of a disservice just because it's like of how good Naomi's been, especially characterized over the last couple of months. I think she deserves an actual reign, even if it is maybe until the next PLE or something like that. So I think she retains here because I think the whole story is Rhea Ripley wants that title, but also defeat Io Sky as well. And I think that's gonna really cost her in this match because it's like you're gonna have Io and Rhea pretty much being the focal point of this whole match where they're trying to go at it, trying to counter each other, trying to pin each other. And I think you have someone like a Naomi being sneaky, waiting in the wings, and then picking her spot and capitalizing when, you know, those two are going at it. So I see a situation like that happening. Lyra Valkyria, I think, makes sense. I think she does potentially win the title back, but I think it's a possibility she doesn't because we know Bayley could potentially turn heel. We know this is a no DQ match. I think you could have Lyra look strong even in defeat with potentially a Bayley coming in and helping Becky retain, which I think makes a lot of sense in the way they've been building this up. But I can see also a situation where Lyra does win and then we could end up still getting Lyra and Bayley coming out of SummerSlam. But for me personally, I don't think Lyra is going to unfortunately win the title back. I think they've been just doing really good work with Becky right now to take the title of her, but I would not be surprised. Jacob Fatu, yes, give him the title back. Give him the title back. I'm no disrespect to Solo, but give Jacob Fatu the title back. AJ Styles, I don't think he's gonna win only because if you look at the go home math, he did win. He did pin Dominic, and plus right now Dominic is really on a high right now because not only does he have the Intercontinental Championship, but he's also competing for the AAA Mega Championship in about 2 weeks. And the whole speculation is right now WWE is really highly considering putting that title on him now that the deal has been sold where WWE owns AAA. So I do think they're gonna make this man a double champion. Let's be honest. And then we have the Wyatt Six retaining. I think that's the safe option. Wyatt Six retaining is the safe option in my personal opinion. I think that's probably the way to go. Unfortunately, do I want that to be the option to go with? No, I would love to see someone else, maybe like an Andrade and Rick Phoenix, or maybe a Fraxium potentially getting the win. But I think the safe option is the Wyatt Six getting the win here. The next comment comes from Alex. Imagine if Seth Rollins is coming down after CM Punk versus Gunther to cash in the briefcase, and Brock Lesnar catches him and doesn't have 5. That would probably be very, very like shocking out of left field. I don't think many people would be expecting it. I know there have been teases of potentially a Brock return just because they still have his merch up. They brought his merch back. They have been, showing him in some of the SummerSlam countdown matches. So it's a possibility he does make his return. I don't think it's going to happen. But if it happens, I would not be surprised. Unfortunately, I know my homies, Doug from In the Clutch, he would not be happy at all. He would not be happy. He would be extraordinarily pissed at the sight of Brock Lesnar being back in the WWE. The next comment comes from Hammer. He says, Liv Morgan distracts Raquel, leading to Charlotte and Alexa winning the tag titles, leading into Roxanne telling Raquel to choose between her and Liv as a ultimatum. I actually think this is probably going to be what they're going to do. I do see Liv Morgan potentially being there in some way, shape, or form. It's in her hometown, bro. It's literally in her hometown. In her home feet, her backyard of Jersey. I don't think you have her miss it. It would kind of be shocking if she did, but I do see a situation where she does come in. There's a possibility where she maybe is the reason that they do lose the tag titles, and this does allow her to come back, maybe not in an in-ring capacity, because I don't think, because apparently she won't be ready until December or January, but she could be there to help prolong the story and get the storyline progressing a little bit more. So I definitely see her being back in a maybe like a on-screen role, but not like an in-ring capacity. But I do like the comment where I do believe she will be the reason that potentially Alexa and Charlotte do become tag team champions. And I can see a situation where maybe Roxanne does talk to Raquel and like say, "Hey, look what happened when Liv Morgan comes back. When we lose our tag titles, but when she was gone, we were starting to gel very well. We were winning the matches. We were putting on great matches. We won an Evolution when the deck was stacked against us, and we still overcame. I think there's a way that they do end up doing this, and then we end up having maybe Roxanne pretty much get through to Raquel, and Raquel ends up signing with Roxanne by the time Liv Morgan is somewhat in-ring ready. And I think that'll be something I will be thoroughly invested in potentially. But we will see. So the next comment that we do have comes from I love I okay. CM Punk wins the world title, but has 3 to 4 minute the 3 to 4 minute reign as Seth Rollins comes down behind him, hits him in the back of the head with the briefcase, catching a curb stomp. Punk to become on Punk to become new world champion. Yes, I think we are in a world where this is a definite possibility. Punk might win the title, but I don't think he might win the title. Only reason why is because what is Seth's motive with Punk? He said to him and to his face, as long as I got air in my lungs, as long as I'm still in this company, as long as me and you are still in this company, I'm going to make sure you never become a world champion. I think he might be the reason CM Punk doesn't win the world championship. I see a situation like WrestleMania 31 all over again. He comes in and make it a triple threat match, and he ends up doing the same thing, maybe with the curb stomp to CM Punk, and pins CM Punk to win the world championship, keeping Gunther strong in defeat. Therefore, that makes another potential story that you could potentially tell as well, that I think a lot of people would be invested in. So I do think that is a possibility. Then the next comment comes from the same person. Pretty much says Bayley turns heel, joins forces with Becky Lynch, helping Becky retain. I agree. I think this is a situation where I do see this happening. I just mentioned it a little bit earlier, where Lyra could still look strong in defeat, but I do think Becky might retain with the help of Bayley, because Bayley is kind of maybe salty that's like she lost her opportunity to compete at SummerSlam and WrestleMania, and it's because of both women involved. So I think she might want to lash out and then end up taking it out on none other than Lyra Valkyria. Becky comes in with the sneaky pinfall, and then there's your winner. The next comment comes from the same person once again. Tama Tonga will play a huge role in the outcome in the cage match. He just as he choose which side he is on, either Solo or Jacob. I could see Tama Tonga coming back and maybe potentially signing with Jacob, maybe. But I think it's more safe to say he might end up joining back with Solos. But that's neither here or there. The next comment comes from Sean. During the Undisputed Universal title match, since it's a street fight, finally either Travis Scott or the Final Boss will show up. I would love to see the Final Boss show up, just because, I mean, this would be a great way to finally, I feel like if you're going to turn Cody heel, this would be the perfect way to execute that. But Travis Scott does not need to be there. I think WWE has cut that tie with him. They don't want anything to do with him. But they got to pay off this story somehow with the whole selling your soul, and maybe they decide to bring it back for one night only, which is a possibility, because they kind of did that kind of anyway. Pretty much had him at none of the Elimination Chamber, then WrestleMania, then that's it. So I don't know. The next question comes from comments. I would say comes from Brady. Here are some SummerSlam predictions I have. Turns Bailey turns heel, costing Lyra against Becky. I agree. Zillifa 2 debuts and joins Solo's MFT faction. I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. That one seems more of a stretch, but it's a possibility. Finn Balor costs Dominic Mysterio his IC title match. Definitely a possibility because I do expect there's going to be some Judgment Day interferences, and I can see a situation where maybe it ends up backfiring and Dominic loses his IC title. That's a possibility. Jade Cargill turns heel and wins the Women's Championship from TV Time. That's actually a possibility that I did not think about, but it is a possibility because it's a face versus face, and sometimes they usually end up doing something throughout the match where it makes one of them a heel. So we will see. But we also have the go home show, so we don't know how that's really going to set that up. Maybe we do see something happen with Jade Cargill where maybe she heals it up just a little bit for the sake of this feud potentially. We will see. And then the last one from him in this prediction, he says the fourth man of Seth Rollins' faction is revealed. Definitely a possibility because there have been some teases of who it could be. Some people have been throwing out the idea of Charlie Dempsey from NXT with the fact that he's been losing everyone in this no quarter cash crew stable. There's also been a possibility of Tony D'Angelo because somebody approached him on NXT, but we did not know who it was. So it's a possibility. It is Tony D'Angelo. It could be Austin Theory. It could be maybe a Ricky Saints. It's a plethora of people that I feel like it could honestly be at this point. And I'm honestly looking forward to see if they are going to make that a thing. I even said maybe they have Jey Uso turn heel. Maybe have Jey Uso turn heel at SummerSlam and then he ends up aligning with them. I think that'd be a big deal and something people really would not see happening, which would make it all the more interesting and hit more just because of what everything that's been going on with the faction. So I would love that. The next comment comes from Jed. Jed, I think he says, how would you rank these 6 women weakest to strongest? First off, on the list, I'm going to have to say Bailey. I just think out of the people that you have on the list, I'm going to say Bailey. Next person, I'm going to say Mercedes. That might be a stretch. Then I'm going to say Becky. I'm gonna say Becky next. Tony Storm, Charlotte, Rhea. I think that's what I'm gonna go with. The next comment comes from Arrow. He says night one, Karen Cross versus Sammy. I think I'll have he has Karen Cross taking it all, or Orton and Jelly Roll winning their match. I can definitely see that happening. WWE has planned to put the title on Jade since day one. I think it'll finally happen. I agree. That's been the plan since day one since she came in. Alexa and Charlotte versus Roxanne and Raquel for the tag titles. I've grown to like both teams, but I think Charlotte and Alexa are going to get the win there. I agree. Roman and Jay versus Braun and Bronson. It would be nice if Braun's won, but I don't see it happening here. I think Bronson takes the pin. I think out of both, Bronson is going to take the pin if they are going to have Roman and Jay win. It also depends on how they're going to start the show. So I do feel like that match might start the show, in my personal opinion. CM Punk versus Gunther. I think I'm going to have Punk win with an injured Seth Rollins cashing in and continuing his words. He makes sure Punk never lets Punk be champ. Okay, I agree with that. Next one, so he pretty much continues his predictions. AJ winning the title. I think Dom will become Triple H champion. I can see this happening, honestly. I know I may have dismissed it earlier, but I think there's a possibility where they do have Dominic drop the IC and then end up picking up the AAA. But I think the better thing would be having him be a double champion. And then the next one comes from, he says Jacob versus Solo. I'm wondering if Tama Tonga returns here, but if not, I think Jacob gets the win with the moonsault off the top of the cage. Maybe that would be a perfect spot to actually execute. Becky versus Lyra. I've got Becky winning. I'm thinking Bailey interference and cost Lyra the title. Agree. For the Rhea, Io, and Naomi match, I've got Naomi retaining, facing Stephanie at Clash of Paris. I agree. WWE Tag Team TLC match, which I'm looking forward to for sure, will be a split. Will be a spot fest most likely, but I'm looking forward to it. honestly don't have a problem with any team that wins. So I'll just pick the Wyatt Six to be safe. I think that is a safe pick. And then John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. I've got Cena retaining due to Street Fighter movie filming, so Cody could be gone for a bit. That's also something that people got to understand. He's also gonna Cody Rhodes might not be there for like at least maybe 2-3 weeks because he has a big role in this upcoming Street Fighter movie. I don't think he's gonna be there like that, so maybe there is an out for him to lose here. So I don't know, but I always think if they're doing a trilogy, they're gonna have to have potentially Cody win one of them, unless they're gonna have him win third. I think if they're gonna do a actual trilogy, Cena won the first one, Cody should win this one, and then maybe Cena wins the next one. I don't know. But the next comment comes from Shauna, pretty much saying Seth Rollins cashes in on Cody Rhodes. That would be interesting. That would definitely be a 180, just because I think more people would be expecting, similar to what they did with Naomi, for her to cash in on the women's championship, but end up cashing on the women's world championship. I think the same thing goes for Seth. People would think he would cash in on none other than CM Punk, but it's a possibility because they did do a little bit of teasing between Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes before Seth Rollins won Money in the Bank, and ultimately before he ended up getting injured at Saturday Night Main Event. So I think that is a possibility of happening. Alex says, I did a poll for each match here with the results: Tiffany Stratton, Randy Orton, and Jelly Roll, CM Punk, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, Sami Zayn getting the win over Karrion Kross, John Cena winning, Rhea Ripley winning, Lyra winning, Jacob winning, AJ Styles winning, and Wyatt Six. I think it's, for the most part, I think these are mostly like are gonna be like spot on in the sense of what we could be expecting. Because there's like I said earlier, there's a possibility Tiffany can win it. Randy or Jello Raw, I definitely think are gonna win. Possibly CM Punk wins. I think there's a possibility Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair win just because of how over they're getting. Roman and Jake actually win just because of what the go home math. Sami Zayn might exercise his demon and actually be able to move on. John Cena can retain. Rhea Ripley is Rhea Ripley, so you can't bet against her. Lyra Valkyria, I think she's elevated herself to a new level by being in this feud for the Women's Intercontinental Championship since WrestleMania, and it helped her in the grand scheme of things. She could end up winning back. Jacob Fatu is Jacob Fatu. He's a beast. He's getting more over every single week. Definitely is a possibility. AJ Styles could win just because they might want to put the title on Dominic, but I think, like I said, it would be a better deal for them to have him be a double champion, but it will not be bet against, especially if there's going to be some judgment interference and end up backfiring. And then the Wyatt Six, I think, is the most safest option to potentially have when it comes to the teams involved. But those are the last of your guys' predictions. I appreciate everybody commenting down and giving your thoughts and opinions. We will be doing more things like this in the future. We'll be probably making this. This is a monthly series, so you guys are going to be getting more stuff like this from me in the coming weeks because we do have Clash in Paris coming up in the next 3 weeks. So we will do one for that pay-per-view as well. But comment down below, let me know what are your guys' overall thoughts of SummerSlam. Pretty in the comment section down below. What are your overall hype level for SummerSlam as well? Road to 2,000, ultimately is 10,000 by the end of 2025. Super kick that like button, helps my channel get pushed across the platform so more people can see what I'm doing over here on YouTube. Superman punch that post notification bell, and spirit to subscribe button takes 3 seconds out of your day. Do those 3 things for me. Helps some progression on my channel as well. But with that being said, hope it is a great day, great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.